So Kenya shows up without her plus one to Jamaica. Drew has issues supporting Ralph's book. And Marlo comes for Candy and Ty hard. Let's talk about it. Hello, everyone. My name is Cynthia, aka Flow, and welcome to my channel. Today, we're going to discuss Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 14, episode 13, Rum Punch to the Gut. So we start off with the little montage that they have of their lives. And Todd says that he feels like an old man because he stopped drinking, which I'm like, did he have a drinking problem? Why did he decide to stop drinking? Later on, I'll talk about it, but he says that he's detoxing or whatever. And he feels like life is over because he's not drinking. Sheree says that her talks to the people who are organizing her event. It was like the models need to have good boobs because some of the pieces require no bra, okay? And that She by Sheree is in no way conservative. Okay, She by Sheree, I want to be able to see that. And then Marlo talks with her two assistants and mentions that the boys will be returning to her home when she returns from Jamaica. Now, I want to know, why does this woman have two assistants? Like, seriously, I can see why Drew may have about 500 assistants because she's an actress. Okay. And Ralph has a business, so he needs an assistant. But I really don't understand why Marlo has an assistant. But okay, girl, whatever. So we get into the nitty gritty. We at Kenya's house. Drew FaceTimes Kenya with tape and stuff all around her eyes because she's getting ready for Jamaica and getting these lashes put in. All right. Drew and Kenya decides to talk about Sonya's party, or should I say diss her party, talk about everything that was wrong, from the food to the cheap decorations. They talk about us giving Party City. I think Kenya said the balloons looked like they came from the dollar store. Child, they was just dogging her out. So they start to talk about all the rules that Sonya has. And Kenya was like, Drew, I was looking at you and I was like, well, how are y'all getting along? So Drew basically said she doesn't have a problem with Sonya. She's just going to go there and have a good time, so on and so forth. Kenya tells Drew that she may not have a plus one because her cousin Shay was supposed to go with her, but Shay is sick. Drew says she doesn't understand why Sonya was making a big deal out of having a plus one and pressuring Kenya for that, which I agree with Drew. That just doesn't make any sense. Why does it matter? If Kenya is okay and comfortable with being a fifth wheel, let her be a fifth wheel, okay? And then lastly, Kenya says that she's going to be staying a few days after because it's her birthday, okay? So she's going to be celebrating her birthday in Jamaica. Then we move to Sonya. Sonya's brother-in-law / trainer are training them for their iFit series that they're going to do. And then the cutest little thing is where her brother-in-law's son and their son Deuce come in and they try to work out with them doing push-ups and stuff. The cutest little thing. They take a little break. Sonya asks Ross, have you talked to the fellas about the trip? Excuse me. Ross says no. It's going to be cool though because we got the excursions. Basically, he was talking about the excursions. Everything is going to be fun. Wow. They're going to have fun while the drama ensues with the girls. And Sonya's like, oh, no. It's not going to be any drama. It's going to be a fun trip. Friendships are going to be mended, all that stuff. She's very optimistic, but we all know that ain't what's going to happen. Okay. Then we move on to Drew. So they start discussing the upcoming trip, and Drew suggests that Ralph brings up his book about during the trip because it may help Marlo. So as we know, Ralph kind of talks about his book is about co-parenting and how they've been dealing with it and the mistakes that they've made. So as we know, Ralph was supposed to adopt Josiah, but he finally explained why And really, it seemed like Drew, this was the first time Drew found out why. But it's because he talked to Josiah's biological father and see if it was okay if he adopted him. And apparently, the biological father had an issue with it. So Ralph is trying to respect that. And he also said basically that it's just a piece of paper. So then the publisher comes over to meet Drew, which Ralph has learned from his lesson from that assistant fiasco. So he's making sure that any woman that he's working with, Drew is going to meet them. Drew brings in a charcuterie board and says that the book is a little sensitive topic for her because she wants to know what will be in the book, how will people learn from their mistakes, like she's totally in the dark. And she feels left out. Ralph said basically, I had to go through this and write this book myself. So, but she still has a wild hair up her ass about it. But then the funny part is you don't want her to know nothing about the book, but then you turn around and say, can you write the foreword? I want you to write the foreword. So I'm in agreement with Drew because Drew's like, on the one hand, you don't want me to know nothing about the book. But yeah, you want me to write a foreword for a book that I know nothing about. She'll probably end up doing it, but that is just kind of weird for him to ask that. The publisher starts talking about the cover and the back cover and suggests that Ralph be on the front cover and that the family be on the back cover. So we move back to Sonia. Sonia arranges for sprinters for everyone to get ready to go to Jamaica. Then Ross discovers he forgot his passport, had to take an Uber back to the house, and he's going to have to take an Uber to the airport so he can get his passport. Marlo's bringing her friend / florist. That's florist. That's her +1. Kenya gets on the sprinter with Sheree and Sheree's friend. I forgot her name. Ooh, sorry, I forgot her name. Kenya tells Sheree and her friend that she is solo because her cousin Shay could not make it because she's sick. All right, they arrive in Jamaica. They're in the sprinter. They're having a good time. And then Sonia asks, so Kenya, where's your guest? So Kenya goes, my guest got sick, so they wasn't able to make it. In the confessional, Sonia's like, I doubt that she even had a +1 and they sick. So first you were sick and now your +1 is sick. Sonia just ain't buying it. Sonia asked everyone to introduce their guests on the sprinter. And so everyone introduces their +1. And Kandi is like, Marlo never brings her man if she has one. I doubt if she has one. And that she doesn't want to expose or let anyone know who her sponsors are, which I thought was funny. Like I said, everything seems to be lighthearted, fun. They joke around. Ross lets everyone know that back in the day, when Sonia was real active, whenever she came to Jamaica, they had like 5 police around her, I guess, to protect her. So that's very interesting. Someone asked about, I think it was Todd, her wearing her medals and stuff. And she said she really never wore her medals for a long period of time. She would get the medal and then she would give it to her dad. That's really cool. Todd, no, that's not it. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So they arrive at the hotel. Sonia sets up gifts, sets up gifts for the women in the room. And she has something extra special for Kenya for her birthday. Todd walks in because they have a bunch of Bob Marleys in the lobby handing out to everybody. And he refuses to get one. And he says he stopped drinking because he's giving his body a detox. They each jump on a golf cart to Sonia's suite. But on the way, Kenya peeps out a dude. I think he was by the pool or something. A little cutie. At least she says he's a cutie. He was just okay to me, but you know. And they make a U-turn. Now, let me tell you something. Kandi complains that they made a U-turn and like, where they going? Because she hungry as hell. Okay, you know, Kandi got to eat. So that was funny. Now, they turn around. Sonia, let me tell you, she's a good wing woman. She calls the dude over, asks him if he's here by himself, invites them over him to the dinner. Kenya, so Kenya said that she needs to get half her groove back, not a full groove, a half groove. So they exchange WhatsApp information. And so Kenya has a date for the dinner, which we later see that he bounces, but for good reason. It wasn't because of Kenya. All right, so Sheree says, so Sonya kind of explains, apologizes for the U-turn and explains to everyone that, Kenya has a date for dinner. And Sheree's like, she's real happy that because Kenya needs to have fun with everything that went on with the divorce. They enter Sonya's suite and there is food for everyone, which Kandi is happy. Drew says that Sonya has stepped up her game, that the resort is nice, that so far so good, everything's good. Sheree has to use the bathroom, and Marlo shades her by saying she gonna have to go to her room and use the bathroom because she's gonna do number two. Sheree says that her shit don't stink, which I was like, okay, we really don't need to hear all of that. But she says literally her shit don't stink. Sonya shades, Sonya does shade Sheree about the shit don't stink conversation because she's like, really, Sheree? Like She by Sheree collection was out spring, summer, fall, and something like that. But I thought that was funny. Sonya passes out keys, and as she's passing out keys, she's asking, have you been nice to the host or kind to the host? And so it seems like she's basing the rooms on how you've treated her. And Kandi says in the confessional that Drew must be staying in the closet because Drew and her ain't been getting along. And then John, which we find out is the name of the guy who Kenya's gonna be or that Sonya invited to dinner, starts texting her right away. John meets Kenya at her room. He brings her a Red Bull. I guess she asked him for a Red Bull because she's tired. She thinks he's a good guy and that she is usually not wrong about that. But Shady Productions shows clips of all the dudes that I guess she thought was a good guy that were not. Okay, so you are probably 100% wrong about men being a nice guy or as a person being a nice guy right now. Yeah, so they all meet for dinner. Drew says she loves her room, and Sonya says she is very forgiving, meaning you lucky. I got a kind heart, B. Marlo talked about Kenya picked up a stray. I really think Marlo's issue with Kenya is that she's jealous of her. Because I mean, like, hate or love Kenya is a beautiful woman, and she has a business now. I don't know how well it's doing. I know she mentioned a couple of episodes ago that she was having an issue with supply chain, but I mean, she seemed to have her shit together. I'm just saying, she ain't never been to jail. Okay, Marlo. So I really think she's jealous of Kenya, and that's why she's always picking on her. Manetta gives a toast. They asked Manetta to give a toast. They're all at the dinner table. And she says, here's to great energy. And for somebody said, for Kenya getting her groove back or something like that. And Kenya's like, everyone relax. This is not my fiance. She says this in a confessional. It's just a dinner date. Relax. Kenya is cracking. She cracked me up these past few episodes. She's really funny. And I'm wondering if this is her true self coming out. Anywho, they start asking John 20 questions. Boxers or briefs. Then they ask his age. So then he said, do you guess how old I am? Whatever. Turns out he's 37. So the producer said, Kenya, I thought you didn't want to date a younger man. And Kenya's like, I never said that. She said her range is 30 to 60 and he fits right in there. Sheree says Kenya, in her confessional, Sheree says Kenya is girly and soft-spoken around a man, but once he leaves, watch out, which is true. Sonya asked Marlo about the boys, and Marlo says we can talk about it tomorrow, so she ain't want to talk about it right now. That kind of prompted Ralph to start talking about his book, or someone did ask him about his book. Let me back up. Someone asked how the book is. I hear you're writing a book or something. And then Ralph starts talking about his book, and then Marlo says, "Congrats on adopting Joshua." Ralph explains why he's not going to adopt him. And then Marlo starts going in on him. How you gonna say you're gonna adopt him and you don't adopt him? And I was a foster child. She keep bringing that foster child stuff up. To me, at this point, I'm like, Marlo, you being real hypocritical because you told your nephews to get the F out, right? You sent them off, and you talking to this man about adopting. He ain't never said, Joshua, get out the house. He ain't never. Ooh, Jesus, let me chill, because that just really kind of made me a little pissed off because she abandoned her nephew. So I was very happy that Kandi called Marlo on her crap. Like, you abandoned your nephews. How you gonna go in on this man and talk about him not adopting when you let your nephews go? Well, that is when Marlo starts going in on Kandi. Kandi starts going in on Marlo. Marlo accuses Kandi of letting her mother, or she accuses Kandi of her mother coming before her husband, which of course, you know what sets off Kandi. You don't talk about her kids or her man or her mama, okay? And so Candy's like, don't worry, you don't need to worry about my situation. Well, first of all, she said, I ain't never done that. And if she did that, you'll tie it right here. I don't put my mom before him. And then Kandi says, you need to worry about your situation. Marlo has the unmitigated gall to say that because Kandi supposedly puts her mother first, that she is belittling Todd, which I was like, what the hell kind of bull? Kandi says he does not feel belittled. Kandi says, since you sent your kids back, you can't talk to Ralph about his situation. So Kandi was trying to bring it back to the topic at hand, but of course Marlo wants to go ahead and talk about some other ish, right? So Marlo doesn't understand in her confessional. She doesn't understand why Kandi would bring up her situation when you know how sensitive it is to me. But Marlo, you don't give a rat's ass about other people's sensitive situations. Like, she is really the epitome of the pot calling the kettle black, like for real. So then Marlo says Kandi is taking care of Todd. So the Marlo goes into that she's taking care of Todd because that's what Mama Joyce said. Kandi says, I don't take care of no man. And then she says, you are disrespecting my husband right now, which she is. Kenya starts whispering to Sheree, that's your friend. Now, see, that sounds like something I would do. I'd be like, that's your friend. So Kandi says, Marlo is trying to get under my skin. In the meantime, Manietta is in her confessional, and she says, on one hand, Marlo says that she loves or likes Kandi and she likes Todd, but on the other hand, you ain't acting like it with your behavior right now. So Manietta, I think that's how you pronounce her name, just seems too sweet to be on this show. Okay, just saying. Let's see here. Yeah, so then Kandi says she has taken care of her kids and other people's kids, and she ain't never told them to get the F out. That's right, Kandi. You got to read her for filth. Okay. Then Kandi tells Marlo to get a husband. Then you could come talk to me. Right? Because she's trying to talk about Kandi not taking care of Todd and just so worried about Todd. And so then Todd chimes in and says, you're repeating some BS that you know is not true. And Marlo's like, well, it came from her mama or some BS like that. Todd reveals that he knows how she got on the show, that she bought her way into the show, that he was behind the scenes, and saw how she bought her way in the show, that she ain't had no friends. And she's like, well, I came with Phaedra or whatever. But he was like, no, because you bought your way into the show. Anyway, Marlo says when they were in the Africa trip, that Todd said Kandi was country and lame. Todd's like, I ain't never talked to you in Africa. I don't know where she getting that from. Maybe Todd really did say it to somebody or one of the other producers. and it's coming out now. I don't know, but the point is, Marlo is deflecting from the fact that you are a pot calling the kettle black. So she keeps deflecting. Marlo says Kandi is only known in Atlanta, to which Kandi says, "Bitch, I'm worldwide." I was like, yes, tell her. Tell her. Now, I'm not a big Escape fan, but I do believe that they are well known worldwide. And like Kandi said, even the songs that she wrote, okay, is worldwide. So Marlo is just out of control at this point. Well, what was funny was Kenya, I'm telling you, she's funny. In the confessional, she says Marlo is a worldwide hoe. I think she said putting powder, or like baby powder or something on old men. Child, Kenya is something else. Um, so then the next thing you know, with all this arguing going on, John gets up and leaves. So they they scared his butt off. And apparently, I don't think Kenya will hear from him again. At least that's the impression I got. All right, then finally, Sonia interjects, says, "You all have said a lot. Let's end this on a better place." And that was pretty much it. But Marlo is the queen of deflection. And she always got to nitpick and talk about other people, but she don't take responsibility for her actions, or she doesn't want to, how can I put this? Um she doesn't like it when people put a mirror up against her face. That's what she doesn't like. And so she deflects. Um Frankly, I hope she doesn't come back for the next season. I'm just saying. But that's pretty much it. That was my opinion. It was pretty good with the back and forth between Marlo and Kandi. I tell you what, now Kandi can get through. Now Marlo's a little louder, but you gotta hear Kandi. Kandi be coming back with some good comebacks. Okay, so that's it. Let me know your thoughts and down in the comments, and please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, peace.